Di here from Your Voice Matters TV with Di Riddell, the place to be to have your voice heard. You're in for a real treat today because I have a wonderful guest for you to listen to. Her name is Wickham St. George. Now, I got it on good authority from a friend of hers that she's really on fire, so I'm really interested to hear what she's got to say. She is a multi-award winning author, poet, and artist. And she likes to keep things simple. And I think that's something that all of us can take a note from because holy cow, we all like to overcomplicate things. So Kez, takes people on an adventure journal or journal adventure. Now, how interesting does that sound? And she works around making it a combination of art and positive quotes. So I really look forward to hearing about that. And recently, she's hosted a family from Japan and they were writing poetry and short stories. So as you can see, she's a multi-talented lady. Welcome, Kez. It's lovely to have you on the program.
Nice to be here, Di.
Thank you. So, we were talking when we were setting up about journaling because it's such a transformational activity and everyone does it a little bit different. So would you like to talk to us about your adventure journaling?
Well, what led me to my adventure in journaling was I travel a lot, and when you're an author, you don't write a book while you're traveling. I do footnotes. So in my diary, I have notes of who, when, what, how, where, and a favourite saying of mine is once I've lit that campfire, watch out. If they arrive from the bush, I have people arriving from all over the place with their stories. So as I said before, you don't write a book in a day.
No.
So what I learned was with my journaling, I took pieces out of my diary and I realised that as I was preparing for my night's sleep, that I would journal and I felt very relaxed. Now, I'm not a good sleeper. I wake up at 3 a.m. with this book in my head burning away and I've got to write it down. So my husband reckons he sees the light going on and off like a fiddler's elbow. He gets concerned sometimes. He really does. So I learned that to journal. I taught myself in the early stages of COVID actually to the old art of doodling.
Yes.
Just drawing in the corner, drawing little squiggles and that.
I do it all the time when I'm on the phone.
Yeah. So my mum was a great one for doodling and she'd fill pads. She was a great one for talking on the phone as well. So she'd fill all the corners of her message pad or her diary or stuff like that. So I took a note and I just scrawled little pictures along the top, like little walking, running men and down the side, and then put a quote in there. And I realised that people would like to learn this. So I've had quite a few classes on doing this. And people say to me, oh, how did you do that? Well, it's very easy because I just relax and it comes to you. Yeah. It's a very simple way of doing art. I get people to put in borders, to draw little caricatures, birds, flowers is a big one with a lot of ladies. It's a very simple thing to draw a 4-petal flower, and then I hand them colouring in pens and say, let's colour it in. So I have women in my classes from the age of 20 to 70. I only have one class a week now because I'm very busy with some of the books I've got to produce. But I just find it's very calming. It's very simple, and it seems to bring, when your thoughts are scattered, I've got to do the shopping, I've got to feed Johnny, I've got to do the washing, I've got to write a book, I've got to do a painting. We're all very busy, and right. I find that this just brings the thoughts together.
Right. And I agree with that because I know how it helped me after my husband passed away in 2002 when my life collapsed. It was the writing that and I didn't really think that was a journal at the time. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just writing my thoughts. But it developed into quite serious journaling, and I journal in all sorts of ways these days. And I love to hear how somebody else does it because you can always learn something. You can always see something different. Oh, what a great idea. I can do that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I encourage everyone to journal. I teach different genres of art, and it's always I am a non-artist or abstract. But again, I went through a bit of a hard time 2 years ago with my health, and I found that just to simplify things. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's the expectations we put on ourselves that leads to stress.
They sure do. I've actually got thinking about that in a couple of days.
So with that, I have a wonderful husband who says, let's get on the road. And even sometimes he'll be driving and I'll find my brain just goes, it's journaling or the next piece of art I'm going to do. And I just find it a very, very, very personal way of de-stressing.
Yeah.
But then it's open to everybody. It's not a closed subject. Everybody can journal.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. And everyone does it in their own way, and that's fine, because that's what it's about. Journaling is a personal journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, it's
so that's what I advocate all the time, is to journal. As for the Japanese family, I was over there. I was over there.
Oh, okay.
I was over there.
I thought
no. I was over there, and I went over as an arts ambassador for where I live, and taught people. They have it's gorgeous, a women's committee room over there, just for ladies. And I had a class of 12 to paint and journal, and I don't speak Japanese, they don't speak English. So we did all these sign languages. It was lovely.
It's amazing what a smile and a hand gesture can do, isn't it?
That's right, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So how did you get into serious writing? As a part of journaling?
I've always written, I've always been a writer. I've always been into poetry and writing, but life gets busy, once you get married and have children and, and I was a teacher, it was my job, and then I became a headmistress, and it just got busier and busier and busier, and then one day I thought, phew. And so hubby accepted a job here in Perth. We were from New Zealand, accepted a job here in Perth, and I wasn't employed anymore.
Oh.
And I thought, what am I going to do? And so I thought, time to put down a book. So I wrote, and I'm just about to, in 4 weeks, publish my next book, Metal Mermaid, and that's about travel.
What was it? Metal Mermaid, did you say? Metal
Mermaid.
Oh, okay. That's a fascinating title.
Well, my little caravan, I was in Albany, and we get massive rainstorms over here. And my caravan was in a gully, and I had to get the old Fergie tractor to pull us out. So I called her my mermaid because we didn't sink. We were in a puddle up to the doorstep. We didn't sink. We got pulled out with a huge squelching noise, and she's metal. I just put the two together.
Oh, what a great idea. That's what I love about writing and about seeing how the different areas that people go to. I'm involved in a U3A Writing for Pleasure group, and we have a topic, and everyone writes on it, and then when we meet every fortnight, everyone reads their topic. And it's just amazing where people's mind goes.
I know.
It's just wonderful. We are such wonderful creative beings, and so many people say, oh, well, I don't have a creative bone in my body. Yes, they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
When someone says that to me, I just want to stop them and say, just stop and think. Yeah. One person that said that to me, she invited me for dinner, and the feast that was put out before me and my husband, if you're not creative, then how did you create this? Because it was beautiful. And the table was set so beautifully. In my table, it's there you are, have your meal. I'm busy. And I've always, I sit at the table with my family when they were here, when they were children, but I've always been very plain. I don't go to this beautiful flowers and candles, where people that are very creative in that way, they do some beautiful table settings.
But so many women don't think that is creativity. They think creativity is art or patchwork or something like that. Whereas creativity, covers everything in life.
What about cake icing and
yes,
card making and crocheting? And I have a friend that she makes these tiny little knitted hearts. She's very, very sick with arthritis in her hands, but she still knits these little wee hearts, and she knits about 30 a week, and she makes them into bookmarks. And I buy them off her to put in my books.
Isn't that lovely?
Very creative.
Yes. So that creative spirit that we all have, you know, it just needs to be nurtured. I think
It
as
does.
life has got busier with people, they forget about the simple things. They forget about taking time out. And I think that's why, you know, a couple of years ago when the colouring in craze came back in, everyone had a colouring in book for adults.
Yes,
And
yes.
I think that it suddenly made women realise that it was okay to de-stress. It's okay to stop and doodle and do something for you.
Yes,
I think it's a really good de-stressor.
it is. It is. It's taking time out, takes your mind off the problem, whatever it is, maybe. And I mean, I've got to admit, you know, I've had women here with deaths in the family and stuff like that, and it really, it's upsetting. But just for that half hour, just sit on your own, journal, colour in. With his water paints there, if you want to do some painting, there's nothing big about it, and no one else is going to see it but you.
Yeah. She chooses.
That's the big thing with most people. Who's going to look at it? Well, nobody. Not really. Not unless you show them.
And what if they do?
Well, that's what people. It's their pride and their ego.
Yeah, they're concerned about being prejudged.
But when you're a writer like me for the past 15 years, it gets to the stage of please read, please have a look, please read.
Well, I've been a Toastmaster for 42 years and I never had any intentions of writing a book, but it was dealing with my grief after my hubby passed away in 2002 when my life absolutely fell apart, that the journaling got serious and it evolved into a book. So now I've published my third one last November. So I understand the author's journey and how different they can be.
Yes. And also, well, with me, I've changed. I've written children's books, which now quite proudly I state they're within the palaces of the UK and in Japan and in Denmark.
Wow.
But, you know, then my publisher said to me, have you got another genre? So I did paranormal and I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Oh, really?
No, because it was all fiction. It's just fiction. It's stories in your head. Why not just go there and lose yourself for an hour?
Isn't it funny? I haven't delved into that because I think I'm not creative enough to do that. I love to read and I read stories and I think, oh, what a fabulous plot. How could they think of that?
Because it's I guess most people write stories that are experiences that happen to you.
Yeah, and
most of my books, funny enough, it's within my life. But when I journal, other people come to me with their experiences, and so that's all noted. It's all noted. My husband says, "Careful what you say; you'll be in the next book."
Yes. Oh, that's such a thing for people, isn't it? Okay, well, we might draw this to a close. Is there anything that you would like to say finally? If someone was doubting themselves about journaling, what would your tip of encouragement be?
Give it a go.
Give it a go.
Just give it a go. Take a piece of paper, open an exercise book, write a quote, something that you favourite, and then just do something very simple. That's all it is. It's simplicity. Keeping it simple.
I think that sums it up beautifully. Well, thank you, Kez, for being my guest today. It's been a delight meeting you online, and I'm sure that we will have future contact. The writers all seem to make contact at some stage or another. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. So for our viewers, you've been watching Your Voice Matters TV with Di Riddell, the place to be to have your voice heard. Remember that your voice is your human gift, a gift that goes on giving if you allow. Cheerio, till the next episode.